One step at a time. With the 22nd game week of the season completed, let's take a look at how my team performed and my transfer thoughts for Game Week 23. Ahead of Game Week 22, I chose not to make a transfer and bank an extra free transfer for Game Week 23. For Game Week 22, I got 64 points, 15 points above this week's average, improving my ranking by 100,000 places. My target of getting 60 plus points per game week for this year has started off well. In the My FPL Strategy League, my position has 2 improved. Shout out to Team Unknown, who has retained his top spot. Now let's take a look at how my team performed and my transfer thoughts for Game Week 23. Back-to-back wins for City, beating Wolves 3-0. EDERSON finally achieved a clean sheet. However, the City goalkeeper didn't record a single save, as Wolves failed to record a single shot on target. Nevertheless, due to the clean sheet, EDERSON returned a long overdue 6 points. City travelled to Kirkland Stadium to play Huddersfield next. In the last fixture between the two clubs, Man City thrashed Huddersfield 6-1. So my plan is to keep EDERSON for the next 2 fixtures. 2 second half strikes saw Watford turn things around, beating Crystal Palace 2-1. WAN-BISSAKA had an impressive display. Once again, the young right back was solid in defence, making some key tackles and showing great composure on the ball, recording a pass completion of 87%. Despite the 2 goals conceded, the Englishman's overall performance was surprisingly enough to earn him all 3 bonus points, returning a respectable 4 points. The Eagles travelled to face Liverpool next, a difficult fixture on paper. In the last meeting between the two clubs, Crystal Palace lost 2 goals with no reply. Thus, despite WAN-BISSAKA's good run of form, it's extremely unlikely he will start in my team for Game Week 23. Liverpool secured their 13th clean sheet of the season, beating Brighton 1-0. ROBERTSON once again had another solid performance. His work rate and defensive awareness was second to none. He almost registered an assist with a hard-driven low cross in the first half. Nevertheless, the Scotsman's overall performance was good enough to earn him all 3 bonus points, returning a solid 9 points. The Reds have 4 decent fixtures before they play a tough away match against Man U. ROBERTSON for me is a season keeper, averaging 6.2 per game. In fact, there is a temptation to double up on the Liverpool defence. The Wanderers' lack of clean sheets continues, losing 3-0 to Man City. DOHERTY had a quiet game, failed to impose himself in the final third. In all fairness, a difficult game for Wolves, as they got a man sent off in the first half. Due to the 3 goals conceded, DOHERTY only returned a single point. Wolves have a good run of fixtures and don't play a top 6 team to Game Week 30. Despite DOHERTY's recent dip in form, I'm comfortable for the Irishman to remain in my squad for now. Watford makes it 3 games unbeaten, beating Crystal Palace 2-1. Every time I'm just about to get rid of HOLEBAS, he somehow always delivers the goods. The left back had a decent game, keeping Andrew Townsend at bay. In the final third, his deliveries caused problems for Crystal Palace, recording an assist from the corner spot. His overall performance earned him 2 additional bonus points, returning a welcome 7 points. Watford welcome Burnley next, a fixture ranked as a desirable match. Burnley have now won their last 3 matches and look to be picking up some form. Thus, I expect this match to be tougher than it looks. Snodgrass failed to make the starting lineup in the 1-0 victory against Arsenal. New signing Nazari starts, meaning Snodgrass was left on the bench. He did make an appearance in the second half and almost made an instant impact with a teasing cross. In the end, the Scotsman only returned a single point for match appearance. West Ham travelled to Dean Court to face Bournemouth next, a decent fixture on paper. With Nazari now in the picture, Snodgrass' starting 11 spot is under threat. Thus for me, Snodgrass' place in my squad has to come to an end. Chelsea gets back to winning ways, beating Newcastle 2-1. Hazard was deployed as a false 9, which looked promising on paper, but the Belgian international struggled to impose himself, especially in the first half, recording the fewest touches than any other Chelsea outfield player in the opening 45 minutes. Nevertheless, Hazard did record an assist, but in the end, the Belgian international returned an underwhelming 5 points. Chelsea travelled to Emirates Stadium to play a tough away match against Arsenal. Despite Hazard's lack of big returns in the last 3 game weeks, I can see the Belgian international scoring against Arsenal, so I'm willing to hold on to Hazard for now. The Reds gets back to winning ways, beating Brighton 1-0. With Milner absent from the starting 11, Salah's role as a penalty taker continued, and it proved to be vital, as the only goal in the match came from the penalty spot. Although I was hoping for more attacking returns from Salah, the Egyptian did record the most shots in the box, and should have really scored a second in the closing minutes. Nevertheless, the Egyptian finally earned 3 additional points. Thus in the end, as my captain, Salah returned a solid 22 points. Salah's up against Crystal Palace next. In the last 2 meetings between the two clubs, Salah provided an assist and scored the goal. With Salah's rich form, and his next game being at home, the Egyptian could be a good candidate for captaincy for Game 23. 2 second half goals give Everton an edgy victory over Bournemouth. RICHARUSON plays back up front but blanks for the 3rd consecutive game week. The Brazilian struggled to test the goalkeeper despite his 4 shots attempts, registering only 1 shot on target. In the end, RICHARUSON returned a disappointing 2 points for match appearance. Everton have a good run of fixtures before they play a tough home match against Man City. RICHARUSON's dip in form is a slight concern, and there is a temptation to trade the Brazilian, but I'm prepared to give RICHARUSON 2 more game weeks before shipping. Man United continues their winning streak, beating Spurs 1-0. POGBA had a fine game. No United player had as many penalty box touches than the Frenchman. He provided the crucial assist for the winning goal with a sublime curling ball. However, POGBA picked up a yellow card in the second half, but nevertheless, in the end, the French international returned a welcome 5 points. The Red Devils have a good run of fixtures before they play a tough home match against Liverpool. POGBA is clearly enjoying his football under Oli. Since the change of manager, POGBA has had 7 more shots and 6 more attempts on target than any other FPL midfielder. Kane blanks in the 1-0 defeat against Man United. In all fairness, Harry Kane had a good game. On another day, the English striker could have had a hat-trick if it wasn't for De Gea's world-class performance. But it wasn't meant to be. Thus in the end, the English striker only returned 2 points for match appearance. Spurs have a good run of fixtures and don't play a top 6 team to Game 28. However, Kane picked up an ankle injury against Man U, so I have no choice but to trade the English striker. So moving on to my transfer thoughts for Game 23. With 2 free transfers saved, I've already made 1 transfer. With the news that Harry Kane will be out until March due to an ankle injury, I made a quick transfer for Rashford. With Rashford's current form, upcoming fixtures, and growth in ownership, quite frankly it was a no-brainer to bring the young Englishman in. With my second free transfer, I'm contemplating upgrading Snodgrass to a premium midfielder. With Nasri now in the West Ham squad, it looks like Snodgrass' minutes is likely to be reduced. So the option I'm currently reviewing is either upgrading Snodgrass to Sane, who's up against Huddersfield, or upgrading the Scotsman to Dele Alli, who's up against Fulham. Both players have a good fixture, but on current form, Sane wins. However, with Mendy set to return next month, is Sane's starting spot potentially under threat in the long term? Whereas Ali is a guaranteed starter, and with the likes of Son and Kane absent, the English midfielder will have to step up his game. But is Spurs the same team without the 2 top informed players? At the moment I'm leaning towards Sane, as City as a team are in better form. If I do decide to bring Sane, I'll probably play a 3-5-2 formation, with Ings back in the starting lineup and WAN-BISSAKA on the bench. For captaincy it's between Salah or POGBA. Based on current form and ownership, I'm leaning towards Salah for now. Please note my team selection is not locked in, and if you'd like to see my final team selection, be sure to follow me on Twitter. All my details in the description below. And that's all from me today guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.